Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Reed, the Education Specialist with the Oracle Applications and Technology Users Group. I'm thrilled to welcome you all to today's session, Harness AI to Get More from Your Oracle Apps, hosted by Opkey. Before we delve into the session, let me provide a brief introduction to OA2G, especially for those who may be new to our programming. We're a community of Oracle users and consultants dedicated to offering education, networking, and support to our members. OA2G is always looking for great volunteers. If you're looking to get involved, feel free to contact us. I'd also like to highlight Ascend 2024, our annual users conference set to take place at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas from June 17th to the 20th. Registration is open and we hope to see you there. A quick reminder for today's webinar, participants will be on mute throughout the session. However, you're encouraged to send your questions at any time through the questions box. The session is being recorded and both the recording and the slide deck will be available to OA2G members in the knowledge base within 48 hours. You'll find links for our upcoming events, knowledge base, and more information about joining OA2G in the chat area shortly. Now, without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to our speakers, Isabel Hendricks, Content Marketing Manager with Opkey, and Nan Dwavetti, AVP CX and e-learning with Opkey. Thank you so much for presenting. You can take it away.
Thank you so much. Before we kick it off, we at Opkey would like to send a huge thank you of appreciation to Jamie and everyone at OTUG who makes this possible. We love partnering with OTUG to offer these sessions, and we always just have such rich and fruitful conversations out of them. So before I hand it over, I'll give a little intro. I'm Isabel, Content Marketing Manager here at Opkey. I know some of you may be familiar with Opkey. If you're not, we are an AI-enabled no-code test automation platform with a specialty in Oracle. We are an official Oracle partner, as well as the #1 rated app in the Oracle marketplace. And really, test automation for Oracle is our bread and butter, both EBS and Fusion apps. And we're very passionate about really allowing our clients and everyone who's using Oracle to get the most out of their Oracle system, whether that's ROI, taking advantage of new features faster, eliminating testing bottlenecks. We're very passionate about streamlining Oracle testing. So today we're going to be delving into something I'm sure we've been hearing so much about, which is AI. We know there's been so much buzz around this, and we're getting a lot of feedback from customers that they're having a difficult time untangling what's just hype and what's actually going to help their bottom line. So a big goal for us today is to show you recent advances, and these are very recent advances within even the last couple months, some of them, in AI for Oracle testing. And there's no one better than Nand, who has so much on-the-ground experience with this. A few housekeeping things. If you have questions, please pop them in the questions feature. We will be taking questions as we go. And then there will be a Q&A section at the end. If you have more specific questions during or after the webinar, please reach out to sales@opkey.com and we can get you some specific answers. And please also feel free to visit the Opkey website for a variety of informative content about this and other things, test automation. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Nand.
Thank you so much, Isabel. Thanks, Jamie. And thank you all for joining today. I will be talking about how to harness AI for your Oracle Cloud apps. And looking at the agenda slide, I'm going to talk about what Gen AI is briefly and the challenges that we see with current testing approaches. Opkey works with multiple companies and teams across industries, and we'll cover how use of AI can help testing Oracle specifically, and we'll see how we at Opkey help customers with the solutions that we offer, and have a look at a few of demos that are recorded here for our Opkey's AI-enabled ERP test automation platform, and as said, followed by the Q&A. And as you know, Gen AI is capable of creating text, images, and other data or content using the generative models. Now, typically, these are in responses to the prompts that one sends, and these AI models learn from their training data and then generate new data with similar characteristics. So there's so much we hear about Gen AI nowadays is due to its potential to transform various industries. And when it comes to its implications for Oracle testing, it involves enhancing the efficiency and accuracy of testing process by automating various aspects of it. So to be specific, like generating test cases and scenarios or test data and determine the critical part of testing coverage. So we're going to talk about these, and I think let's look at the most common challenges first as to what we hear most of the time is around scoping, and there are questions like how much to test or what all areas are to cover when you go about testing. So we do hear questions wherein, are we testing today? Uh, is that sufficient, or the test coverage? Uh, so that becomes a basic challenge that we mostly hear about, which is scoping. And since most of the planning usually happens on spreadsheets, manually right from the early stages of Oracle implementation, we see lack of tracking and a blueprint that can define what is currently at test, what should be further included in the testing. So what we see that the flaw lies in the overall approach, where we design and plan on a tool and like spreadsheet, or manage test cases on another, and execute on a different platform altogether. So multiple applications in play, adding overheads of multiple license cost, dependency on multiple tools for overall test management makes it overcomplicated and a bottleneck for most of the times. And once we are past scoping, somehow with the best efforts comes another important factor of test data. And once you've analyzed and determined what's in or out of scope for testing, we need a comprehensive test plan. So this plan outlines who is responsible for what, which processes we'll test, and the data sets we'll use. So let's say you have 50 odd business processes, getting test data for this becomes a challenge. Example, Oracle's human capital management or HCM module, you might require multiple users to be created or different forms to be filled, and that requires unique data. Hence, you'll need more data sets to test these scenarios effectively. Now, getting the required data set for your test cases is a daunting task and another major challenge. The other one would be the decision makers or the key business users engagement. Their participation is required in deciding whether proposed changes are okay for deployment, the configurations or modules that are to be included in sanity testing or maybe regression later on. Their approval is essential, as mostly they have the functional expertise and have set the objective for the overall implementation or your test plan. Now, these users usually have a good understanding of business processes, however, might not be an expert in test automation or related process. So it introduces another layer of complexity, while along with the other BAU tasks, the automation project needs their active engagement and input. That becomes a challenge again. Also, working with multiple applications, as I said, and a lack of single source of truth for tracking, it becomes quite difficult for them to keep pace and offer best decision making in your Oracle test automation projects. We see execution, uh, another challenge, wherein once the planning phase is completed, we move on to execution, and we have a plan in place, including the prioritized business processes for the current test cycle. Sometimes we come across a challenge regarding limited visibility into executed tests. Test cases are executed twice or maybe often more than that. So the more you test your product, the better it is. At the same time, we don't want to go ahead and do unnecessary duplication of our efforts. Similarly, managing defects is another aspect that needs attention. Given the limited resources available for fixing them, it becomes important to prioritize which defect would be urgent or becomes important, and to ensure that it doesn't cause any application downtime and are to be fixed at all cost. So we see there are so many case studies available on Opkey's website where we see businesses losing on revenue or unable to cater customers due to downtime caused by these defects seeping in production. Before moving to production, our main focus is validation, and documentation here plays a key role in ensuring our expectations align with the plans. For instance, we may narrow down our attention to critical fields that need specific validation for our Oracle projects. It's crucial to clearly document these validations, whether in manual test cases or automation or automated scripts. Documentation goes a long way, and it should cover, in fact, testing environment details, timestamps, your step-by-step procedures, snapshots, debugging info, and a lot more. So these are details are essential for well-organized, comprehensive validation or documentation procedure. However, most of this documentation is often not done properly or lies on an external test management system most of the time, as we see. So that becomes challenge to have your documentation with manual or automated on a single application. It in turn hinders collaboration, visibility, and lead to the information loss due to breaks in the overall process and multiple systems in use. So these are few of the major challenges that we come across while we work with different customers, companies across industries. There are other major challenges or other challenges that might not be sound that big. However, when you are aiming to scale or to accelerate processes, especially managing an Oracle or a substantial ERP project, like your a big chunk we see around 90% of team is handling it manually, often using spreadsheets. So this involves a good amount of effort in coordinating with business users to validate, doing those SIT phases on spreadsheet again poses challenge in tracking and collaborating effectively and documentation. So similarly, you might want to have let's say a central test repository. However, it becomes unusable if the testing team don't know how to look for a particular test case because of the conventions or nomenclatures that you used to identify them are not consistent. So this confusion leads to the same issue as not having a repository in the first place. So effective tagging becomes important. Similarly, if there's a bug inflation, so there are bugs that are tracked. However, people are creating same bugs again and again with a different ID, or maybe they're not linking it with the test cases. So instead of duplicating defects, they could just add another instance of a defect to its original. We see a lack of such features on the test management platforms that we come across. Talking about these major challenges that comes across when you're testing your Oracle apps, let's look at a few of the best practices as to what should be our approach and how we can tackle them. Now, as said, AI can help solve most of these challenges, like scoping, as it can determine what is there in your Oracle instance that needs testing attention vis-a-vis what you're doing now. It can help create test cases, saving a lot of time and efforts. A unified platform that can offer the capability to track testing status, that is pass or fail, your coverage analysis, status of defects, which are all linked to your release timelines, can offer comprehensive documentation that not only includes automated tests, but also the manual ones, will allow lesser efforts and make your overall tracking a lot easier. And you can learn across multiple applications, and focus would be where it is needed the most. So it can not only help in test case generation, repository, scoping, but also one single platform that can offer you a true visibility is what are the best practices that one should have when you're testing your Oracle apps. Wanted to talk about how Opkey can help. Just a single click of test maintenance and use of AI for identifying the changes due to any regression or Oracle release that is happening. It saves a lot of time and efforts in identifying those broken test cases and overall maintenance. Also, with the use of AI, Opkey mines the Oracle instance and helps to check the current test coverage and suggest what should be tested to enhance it. We have 30,000 plus pre-built test case library, mostly for out-of-the-box Oracle modules to kickstart your test creation, and super fast test execution agent that helps you execute multiple test cases in bulk. You can schedule them as well and run them as and when you like. So it also suggests you the test cases that should be picked or should be the part of the coverage gap analysis, and offers pre-built test cases that can be automated or customized as required. So Opkey comes with a comprehensive test management platform. It's embedded to offer a single source of truth, as I said, for your defects, test management, and you focus where it's required the most. Let's dwell deeper into how Opkey is using AI features to go ahead and solve most of the challenges we discussed. There's a feature we call test discovery, which uses AI capabilities for mining your test environment. And it looks into your current configurations, transactions, activities, and your test data as well. And once it does that, it helps you understand your current testing and helps you enhance the coverage with the suggested scenarios that you should be testing. It creates a blueprint around it, and it gives you the detail of tested and what other configurations exist on your instance or your system, and suggested scenarios for that should be tested. So this helps you ensure you have a quality assurance you can rely on, and not only that, it offers you an end-to-end test management on a single platform. So you can now plan, design releases without switching to a different platform or an application, or you have to learn or toggle between multiple applications. You can create releases, add milestones, requirements, not only for automated, but also for your manual test cases as well. So all your important artifacts are now at one single place, allowing you to get comprehensive report creation and a lot more. So we're going to go ahead and look at it as well. This test management is crafted for ERP specific release management. So with that keeping in mind, it really helps Oracle or ERP customers to go ahead and use it for any of their testing requirements. Also, there's a Gen AI assistant named Wilfred. It helps you with all testing assistance. So we'll give you a glimpse of a quick demo of how it helps you generate test cases and test data for your not only the as is, but also your custom scenarios by mining your business configurations, as I said. So your test cases with test data are ready by giving command to Wilfred. It also generates manual test cases which are required. So no need for tedious tasks or creating spreadsheets for manual test cases that are required maybe for your UAT testing. We also use AI to check the impact due to regression or due to any Oracle quarterly patch or any release that usually happens frequently. So it helps you reduce the cycle time and reduce the bandwidth required here to manually identify impacted areas, fix those broken test cases. It offers a real-time impact analysis. So it will go ahead and tell you what has changed. It will help you understand the functional areas that are affected so that you don't have to go ahead and manually identify, as I said, and with just single click, it can go ahead and fix those broken test cases, and your maintenance is as easy as a breeze. It also offers autonomous test document generation in different categories. It offers a playbook that provides details on your process, setup, configurations, data combinations, along with an end-to-end autonomous test execution report for all the documentation that you could need. So these are just few ways Opkey can make ERP testing, especially for Oracle apps and other testing areas, much easier. Check out a few recorded demos of the key features we just talked about to show you how effortlessly Opkey can handle all of this.
Anand, we have a quick question before we start the demo.
Yeah.
The question is, do we get a dashboard based on the test executions?
That's a good question, and at the right time, as the first slide of the demo just gives you that, which is the dashboard. And this one is at the release level. So you get to see what was your planned start date, your end date, what are the pending defects or the tickets that are there. It goes ahead and show you what all requirements were there that were raised in the release and what all pending test executions are there. So yes, it gives you comprehensive dashboards that can be customized as per the requirement. You can see the widgets here that you can set up by tickets by priority or your test suites by priority. You can customize, play around, and create the one that you want to have a look at. This is also a test management feature, the one on the screen. Once you log in, you land to this dashboard, and as the question was around what all customizations or what all features can I go ahead and have a look at on the dashboard, you can create widgets, plan your releases, your milestones, and it'll give you a quick peek of your release timelines in actual versus planned. You can, as I said, you can create all the required artifacts like plan a release, link all the milestones to it, link your requirements that are going into the milestone that you're planning, link your automated and manual test cases, your test suites, whatever test that you want to run. These runs can be again linked, and the defects or bugs that are there or that are raised during execution. So anything to everything that you would need for your release is right there. And as they are all linked, you can create comprehensive dashboards and reports. So let me go ahead and give you a look of dynamic report that can be easily created with the help of widgets and pinned to dashboard. So you can track each artifact level as you need. What all are the backlog, what is closed, in progress. And as I said, these are dynamic, so as they change, they keep updating themselves. You can apply multiple filters available for every artifact, customize these dynamic reports using widgets as you go. The test management platform, which comes embedded within Opkey's platform, and you don't have to go ahead and switch applications for managing your test management or any of the artifacts. Now let's see how Opkey's AI feature I was talking about, test discovery, helps you mine an ERP environment. So all you do is you go ahead and connect your ERP instance that you want to mine from the available options, say Oracle here. Given the URL, the credentials, and fill in the details for the process that you want to mine, say P2P here. You can select the time frame through which you want to go ahead and mine the logs for. And once you click Analyze, it starts mining and looking into your environment. So as I said, it will mine the logs that are your configuration that exist, and then it'll identify the missing test cases with the use of AI engine and builds all the required test cases autonomously without the need for coding. So it offers 99% test coverage and quick time to value. And when you expand a transaction and look at a test case, you get the steps performed. And with one click, this test can be automated as well. So it created a blueprint of what all scenarios that exist. You can look at the data, the configurations that are there, and then it gives you all the suggested test cases that or scenarios you should be looking at. So all these test cases that you see, these are basis the configuration, as I said, and are generated as well as along with the data basis your configuration. Hence, helping you with generation of idle test cases across business processes, autonomous self-configuration driven test cases. They combine in scenarios which would eventually help you reduce the risk of coverage and defect leakage. Another fantastic use of AI, as we can see in the, so it's not only shows your seeded or average data, but also your custom scenarios are mined as well.
We have a quick question. Is there an alert mechanism for selected user group based on module area?
Absolutely. So there's a notification that goes to the user via email and also on the application or the platform when they're there for any task that is assigned to them. There's any change in the task, and these are again limited to the projects or the which are linked to the modules that they're working to. So yes, you have pretty much the notification that one would need or alert that they would need on the platform and via email as well. Okay, now let's look at the fantastic use of AI, Wilfred, that we talked about. So here you don't need to do much, just give a command or the prompt and your test cases along with the necessary data are good to go. Let's say payables here and the test cases are generated. You just can choose the one that you need, and they're crafted using Opkey's extensive ERP library and your custom scenarios mined from information in a few clicks, and your test cases with input data are ready for execution. Here's another one creating for AP invoice with just a few clicks. One of the best uses of AI to generate test cases along with the data.
We have a question. How does it work for custom requirements? I assume all these predefined test cases will take care of only the standard flows.
That is right. So you get the test cases that are covered, but that are out of the box. Also, you go ahead and you have reusable components that you can use to create your end-to-end test flow. And in case there are custom scenarios, you can modify with the use of recorders and keywords that we have. And that's how you can go ahead and ensure that the coverage that is suggested can be created as well.
Thank you. One more question. Nand mentioned that log files are mined to create test cases. So does logging have to be enabled for a period of time in the instance to enable this?
Well, that's right. If it'll mine the configurations, and that's how it will tell you what you're currently testing. So basically the mining is to help you understand your current test coverage and suggest you what are other configurations available. If there's no activity available, if there's no configurations, if there's no transactions that have happened, then probably it will show you the configurations that exist and what should be tested.
Sweet, thank you.
Now let's have a look at one of the documentation type here. So we go back to this instance that you've analyzed, and you can download the playbook, automation playbook. You get multiple reports that has all the required information for documentation, along with screenshots of the test execution for the requirement. It gives you overall summary of your coverage assessment, the test cases that are there scenario-wise or module-wise. Another feature that I really wanted to talk about was the browser extension, as it really comes handy. And we see a lot of customers like this, especially when they are doing the exploratory testing, or let's say you're doing your manual test cases. The ease is simply amazing here. You don't need to switch to different application to say log a defect or raise a bug. You can do it right where you're on the application. Click on the browser extension, take a screenshot for a bug or UI issue, and raise it as a requirement or a defect right from your application window. So you capture the screenshot or a video, it gets loaded up, and you can change priority, assignee, and other details as that, and that's logged in the system. There's a Docker as well that you can enable to perform all these activities. So these were the features that we wanted to talk about as to how Opkey helps you mine your test coverage, how it can generate test cases with the use of Gen AI, how we can go ahead and help you do your manual exploratory testing all on a single unified platform for your Oracle apps.
All right, we have another question. How
Sure.
do I review data that has been used for performing a test case?
Well, your test case comes with the data repository, whatever data was used, in case we are going ahead and extracting those test cases via mining capabilities. So whatever was test data that you used or was there in the instance is shown within the test case as well. You can pretty much edit it, change it, run a different data set as well. So you can have multiple data sets for test cases. Also, you can generate test data. There are features through which you can generate random test data as and when required.
How many customers are currently using this functionality?
Well, in fact, all of them. So any to every customer that goes ahead and that is with Opkey, the first step would be to go ahead and check what's the test coverage, what is that they're doing. As I said, that's one of the major challenge and major question that we hear is, what is that I should be testing? How do I ensure that my critical test scenarios are covered? So they would mine, that's the first step, and then they'll go ahead and create those automated test cases, add them as in their library, run a sanity, and later on run that as a regression, and keep adding. And we go ahead and with every quarterly patch, our libraries are also pre-built libraries also updated, so you also get that updated library. So not only during implementation regression, but every patch release it becomes easy, and you don't have to go ahead and manually do the test maintenance as well.
Next question, will this be available for Oracle EBS (R12)?
Oh yes, it's available for Oracle EBS on-prem and Oracle Fusion as well. So we support both of that.
So if anyone has any other questions, I encourage you to pop them in now as we start to wrap up. We have one question here. Can you speak a little about onboarding time and protocols?
Yeah, absolutely. So our onboarding typically is maximum of with minimum of 2 to maximum of 4 weeks. So once you're onboarded, trainings, and we go ahead and handhold you as to how you can go ahead and perform all these steps and run it end to end. And so usually, to answer, yes, 2 to 4 weeks is the maximum time that we're looking here.
Next question. Can you explain a little bit more about Wilfred for test case generation? Is it only written commands?
Well, yes. So you can go ahead and enter the prompt. You walked you through in the demo. You want to go ahead and create test cases instead of mining. You can use Wilfred. It will go ahead and perform those activities for you and give you the test cases via mining. And you can just select the test cases. It will appear on your screen what all scenarios you want to use. Select those and you can run them. It also mines the data, as I said. So along with that, your test cases are already loaded with data. It's just ready for execution. So via prompts, you go ahead and run it. And in case you don't know what prompt to give, it will go ahead and suggest you as well that if you're looking for a specific business process, enter the name. If you want to go ahead and create test cases, so you can do all that.
Nice, thank you. Next question. In case of testing an invoice form, is there a way to capture a screenshot of the process?
Well, if I understand correct, you're talking about capturing the screenshot during execution. Well, absolutely. Test documentation, as I said, is really essential, and Opkey offers you comprehensive test documentation for execution. All the steps that are performed, a screenshot is captured as well, along with the status and a lot more logs. And in case you want to go ahead and capture during test case creation, a custom test case creation, you can use a recorder feature as well to capture it.
Nice. And I would encourage the asker to check out opkey.com. We have a variety of more detailed info about the product, as well as several recorded webinars about that specific subject. I believe that does it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending and for your wonderful questions. We've really loved hosting you, and we would really love to hear more from you, even if it's just questions or, feedback about your Oracle experience. We're always gathering info and learning to be a better automation platform for Oracle. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Nand, and thank you, Jamie. I hope everyone has a safe and beautiful rest of your day.